Carson Palmer was 25 of 35 for 310 yards and 2 TDs in the Cardinals' 23-20 win over the Vikings last night. Palmer currently leads the NFL in passing yards and is tied with Tom Brady for most TD passes with 31. Darren Woodson still here with us. Where does Palmer rank in your MVP candidates? Obviously, this whole race, it's been Cam and Brady, and now Palmer's a part of the conversation.
I'll say it right now, right behind Cam Newton.
Oh,
he's right
here we go.
Right behind.
Here we
Cam
go.
Above Tommy.
I knew it.
I'm just saying.
I knew it.
Hey, listen, I am the biggest Tom Brady fan.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You can't be.
But this is what I'm seeing in Arizona with Carson Palmer. He has weapons galore. Fitzgerald, you got John Brown.
Floyd's back.
And Michael Floyd is back. They're running the ball exceptionally well. This team right now has been carried by Carson Palmer and that arm. He's finding the open receivers. He's driving the ball downfield. There's a confidence. Larry Fitzgerald has been his hat. Feels like he's like a 25-year-old man, a wide receiver all over again. And he's deferring to Carson Palmer as being the leader of this team. This team will go as far as Carson Palmer takes them. And I think he's absolutely behind Cam Newton as far as the MVP of this league.
I have a feeling the guy in the monitor agrees with you. The guy with the big head
Not
over
necessarily.
here.
I'm not going to put Tom Brady third on anybody's MVP list based off of what he's had to deal with this year and the success of the New England Patriots. What I will say is that Carson Palmer definitely needs to be in the conversation. Even if he's third, we need to make sure that anytime we're talking about a league MVP, we're talking about Cam Newton, Tom Brady, and Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer has over 4,000 yards passing. He's completing 64.5% of his passes. He's got a QBR of 83, a quarterback rating of 107, and he is 17-2 in his last 19 starts for the Arizona Cardinals. This brother has been balling. The thing about it is that what I would say to you, Darren, is they haven't had the continuity that Carson Palmer has had. John Brown has been there. Larry Fitzgerald has been there. You know, Michael Floyd has been there. Bruce Arians is always there, obviously. And so when you look at that level of consistency that he's had available to him, where he's been able to work with it. Ellington hasn't been healthy for them all season long, and we do understand that. Chris Johnson's the world. David Johnson's. You got to look at what he's had to work with. He's had a model of consistency as it pertains to the personnel available to him. Where with Cam losing Kelvin Benjamin and then having Ted Ginn Jr. drop one pass after another for crying out loud, even though he's made some big plays as well. And you look at Tom Brady losing Gronkowski, losing Edelman, losing Amendola for a game or two, losing Dion Lewis, having Brandon LaFell drop his passes. I think you take all of those things into consideration, and it's about Cam and Brady. But we have to respect Carson Palmer to recognize the level of excellence that he's put forth before our very eyes, and at least willing to appreciate the fact this is what he has done, and it can't go unignored, because dating back to last season, the man has only lost 2 games as a starting quarterback in nearly 2 seasons as a starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. So he deserves his respect, and he deserves mention, meaning a finalist for the award. But ultimately, I'm not giving it to him over Cam or Brady.
You have Cam 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought you had something you had to throw
I'll
in.
jump on it.
Oh, okay. You know, when it comes to the MVP race, most of the NFL has ABB, as in anybody but Brady. Not ADD, but ABB, anybody but Brady. So if it's Carson Palmer comes along and has a couple good games, oh, Carson Palmer's better than Tom Brady. It's Cam, who has had a sensational breakout season. I don't disagree with that at all, but he hasn't been better than Tom Brady. Cam has been sensational in fourth quarter. He's got the best QBR in the fourth quarter, but I'm going to have to pick some nits here about Cam. If I go back and look at his totality of games, if I look at Jaguars, Texans, Bucks, Eagles, Colts, there have been a whole lot of blah games, just mediocre games in there. And I will I'm picking nits here, but against Aaron Rodgers at home, a game they ultimately won when Aaron Rodgers threw a late pick. Cam threw a late pick. With 4 minutes left, he throws a flat pass that gets picked off that got Aaron Rodgers a chance to get back in the game that he couldn't cash. So I'm saying, really? Against that schedule and that division, he's better than Tom Brady, who has just been like beyond sensational all year long, all the way to the game at the Giants. They're facing 4th and 10. Remember this, with a couple minutes left, 4th and 10, and he just stands there, cools under fire, and flips it over the middle to Amendola and converted it for 12 yards, go down and get the field goal. The last 2 weeks, they have lost 2 games in which Brady gave them 14-point leads in both games, and then when the leads were lost, he almost miraculously pulled out both games, the one at Denver and the one at home against Philadelphia. He almost pulled them both out. You can't tell me that Cam Newton has been better than Tom Brady, and you certainly can't tell me a Carson Palmer, who's lost 2 games this year, one to Nick Foles at home and the other one at Pittsburgh to Michael Vick and Landry Jones. That's who he's lost to. That's not better than Tom Brady. I'm sorry. Case closed.
I'm sorry. Skip. Hold on.
Go ahead.
No,
Skip,
it's Darren's turn.
I just want to point out this. St. Louis lost. Carson Palmer was 29 of 45, 352 yards. Pittsburgh lost. He was 29 of 46, 425 yards.
421.
So what I'm saying to you is that even though they lost both of those games, Carson Palmer showed up.
Okay, but he
Just
threw
saying.
a bunch of interceptions in those games, too. He threw interceptions.
Okay.
No, 1 interception in one game, 2 in the other.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
So Carolina's what, 12-0? Mm-hmm. They're 12-0 right now.
Yep.
Yes.
0 losses. They have not lost a game, right?
Yep.
So fourth quarter wins.
Right.
Cam Newton, we're knowing what he's doing in the fourth quarter. He's winning.
He's been sensational.
He's been sensational.
Okay.
There's Cam Newton, and then there's either the toss-up between Brady and Carson Palmer. And let me say this. There's 16 games in this season. We are going to judge them off the MVP for 4 more games. Am I right? Brady doesn't have Gronk going into Houston this week. Is Brady the same guy without Gronkowski?
He's been pretty good. He's throwing to Brandon LaFell and Scott Chandler.
You know what? We don't. In the end, we do not care. In the end, we're going to judge them off 16 games. The Arizona Cardinals have 4 more games that are tough games coming up. With all the weapons that Carson Palmer has, if he puts together in these next 4 games, he puts together lights out performances with all the weapons that he has, you got to put him in.
Okay.
And I honestly think that we've seen the best of the Patriots this year.
Highest degree of difficulty
Also,
of those 3
Darren,
quarterbacks. Who's faced the highest degree of difficulty this year?
Oh, no doubt.
New England.
New England has.
Okay.
But the numbers aren't going to be there for Tom Brady in the next 4 games without Gronkowski.
Okay, but he's still putting
only
up
that,
sensational numbers without those weapons.
He's got two 300-yard games in the last 6 weeks. Brady.
Okay, but who threw for 466 in week 2 at Buffalo when they were healthy and hot?
That's great.
Okay.
But you just ignored Carson Palmer throwing for 425. I know it wasn't a loss, but I'm saying it's not just about yards.
He lost.
It's not just about a yard.
Tom Brady won the game. Tom Brady went against
Carson Palmer is 17-2 in his last 19 starts.
Okay, what have you told me about the Steelers?
I'm just saying you can't ignore it.
They might have the worst pass defense in pro football. So he threw for 421. Big deal, he lost to Michael Vick and Landry Jones. Really?
I had no idea you loved Brady that much.
Tom Brady played Miami and Washington and the New York Giants.
Nobody defends
really
it.
feel
Somebody's got to stand up and say, this is insane, because this guy's having a better year.
So you have him over Cam Newton, right?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
So we have 2 Team Cam, 1 Team Brady. Carson Palmer enters the conversation, and I think there's no debate as to who's MVP in the NBA right now. Darren, thanks for being with us.
No problem, thanks.
We appreciate you. The Warriors have a tough one tonight in Boston. Of course, I was talking about Steph Curry on a 6 of their 7-game road trip here. Could the C's actually knock them off, though? That's the conversation when we come back here on First Take.